What's up, ugly ass niggas? This your boy J Miles, and I'm back with another video. And you know what to do. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, leave a like, comment, let me know what you're thinking. But most importantly, make sure you share it with your dead friends. On today's video, we'll be covering Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, and this one right here is the final predictions. So basically, I'm gonna be giving y'all my final predictions of everything I think will possibly transpire in this final episode of the season 4. And from my expectations, I expect it to be very action packed, emotional, and for us just to get a brand new scenery of what we're going to be seeing, like new characters, new events, new plots, things in that nature. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. Now, I believe it's gonna start off. I mean, I might not be right. I am obviously accurate about the order of all this stuff, but in my opinion, I believe it's gonna start off right where they left off. It's gonna start off with Lou and Rock um, in the Devil's Den, in the Lion's Den, with Unique and Akbar, right? And pretty much she's gonna be letting Neek know that she wants him to leave Kanan alone. That's what I believe that what a lot of this is about. And maybe perhaps they could strike some kind of deal. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she might try to pick something like that. But I'm pretty sure majority of this is the reason why she's here is because she's seen Kanan leave out of his place last episode, right? And of course, if you've seen the exclusive clip, you know that Unique is going to be revealing to Lou that him and Rock were smashing, and a bunch of other things that's that he said. So I think Lou is. I mean, but I think Nick's not going to back down. He's going to be like, look, if you want to take it there, we can take it there. This but I'm going to do what I do. So that's how I see that playing out. Um, Also, of course, eventually, we're gonna get to the point where Kanan's gonna get the news that Crystal is no longer with us, and more than likely, it's gonna be Juke that's gonna reveal the news to him because she was told that by Detective Garcia. So I can see her taking the news to telling Kanan the situation, and immediately Kanan is going to try to blame it on Rock like he's been doing typically as of late. And Juke is going to tell him that, you don't know that. Stop jumping into conclusions. And Kanan is going to get enraged with her. I'm pretty sure I've been saying this for a while, and it looks like it didn't happen until the season finale. But I knew this thing would eventually happen, and that it was he was talking to Juke. He's gonna tell her, "If you're not with me, you against me," and he's gonna get pretty mad at her. So they're gonna be bumping heads, and I believe Juke's next move is she's gonna go ahead and pay a visit to Rock because I think Kanan may, for the first time, scare her to the point that she feels like he has completely transformed and he is a different person. And she's just letting Rock know that Kanan isn't the same and he's really furious at you because he believes you took out Famous. And he also, real quick, I meant to say this earlier, that Kanan is going to reveal to Juke that Snaps and Pop told, what I'm saying? Snaps and Pop told Kanan that it was her who was behind the death of Famous. So yeah, that's also going to happen there. And then she's going to reveal that to Rock, and Rock is going to be like, man, I ain't never been stressed out so much in my life. Like I get blamed for everything. Like, so basically, she's gonna have the weight of being blamed for famous, being blamed for Crystal, and you know her not being able to fully trust Marvin potentially, and she's losing her side, and she doesn't. And at this point, I think she's not gonna know what to do about it. She, but I do think perhaps she made a mistake last season, and that's what's gonna ultimately lead to what's gonna this season finale is gonna give to us. When she was first thinking, let me um, get out of the game and focus on trying to make a relationship with my son. If she would have went that route and just continued to stay out, I understand it was hard. She don't know nothing about all the other stuff she was doing, but what she was good at was moving weight. Cool. But you had to do that at the expense of losing your son. If you just completely got out of the game, wash your hands of that, tried to find a new way to do, to deal with it. Maybe eventually Kanan would have forgave her and let it alone. Even if he stayed in the game, you know what I'm saying? Y'all would have had a relationship. But I don't know. Who am I? But yeah, next also, of course, with Kanan being furious about the death of Crystal, we're gonna see him, you know, pay Crystal's. So I'm guessing we're gonna get a time skip because he clearly with him being at the gravesite, it has to be a time skip because Crystal just freshly died last episode, and I'm pretty sure, there's no way in the world they can have her funeral like that. This is not like the countries where as soon as they die, they put them right in the ground. So I would say at least a week or so, maybe even two, had to have passed for him to be at her gravesite putting a rose here. Or like I told y'all, it could be somebody else's gravesite. It could. If you seen my other video, I told you all that I believe Rock is out of here this season, but we're gonna get to that a little later here. But he could be at Rock's gravesite, and he's upset because he noticed he made a mistake. Either way, it's definitely gonna be a time skip. But next, we're also with especially with Kanan now believing that Rock is responsible for the death of Famous, and now that Pop has manipulatively put Chris and purposely put Crystal's body somewhere where people could find it to make sure her body was found and that Kanan can eventually see it to further push him away from Rock like they want. Um, Now they're gonna see him as right for the picking, and they're going to manipulate him further by introducing him to new players of the game and putting him in higher positions to fatten their pockets basically. So also be prepared to see these grimy old suckers further push Kanan into the direction that they want him to get. And I think Pop is going to do some real dirt. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is she's going to be into, but she's going to do some real dirt this season. Like I think she's going to be doing most of the dirt opposed to Snap. Snap is going to be kind of on chilling a little bit. She's going to be the one that's going to be the mastermind behind all of this. So, also, like I said, we seen that in the earlier scene that um, Rock paid a visit to, Neek and told him, and of course, we heard in the trailer that she was saying that, since family is not off limits, yours, since mine is not off limits, basically referring to since you won't leave Kanan alone, then I'm gonna go after who you love. And who is it that Neek loves? Panessa. The only ones he care about is Panessa and his son Jerome. So, of course, in the trailer, we see an image of what looks like to be Lou watching Panessa from a distance. And of course, he ain't about to be just looking at her just to be watching her. He's going to absolutely, yeah, he's going to absolutely, you know what I'm saying, snatch her up. So I'm pretty sure, because you keep in mind, Neek in episode, what was that, 8? Or was it 7? It's 7, yeah. He told her, you can't go back to the South Side until he tells her to. And she mentioned her mom. He said, nah, fuck your moms. The man told her, F your moms. And of course, Panessa didn't like that. But he said he'll have some guys drop the mama off where she may need to go. But it just kind of seems like that, Panessa's not going to listen. And she's going to go ahead and maybe go to see her mom anyways. Because maybe it's been too much time passed since she's seen her. Maybe she has a turn for the worse, whatever it might be. I definitely can see Panessa going back to Queens, and she's gonna pay for it. Now whether or not Lou kills Panessa or not, I don't know. But I think Lou is absolutely on demon time right now, so he might just take her out. So don't be surprised if Panessa falls this falls this season as well. Now, um, another thing that I think could be very much possible is that this two situations. I think Rock might have a conversation with both of the uncles, Marvin and Lou, telling them about the situation that's escalated with Kanan, and they might decide to, go ahead and have a pep talk with Kanan, but which is what I think we're gonna get to later with Lou talking to him, opposed to Marvin. Marvin's gonna have a side jet because you can tell by the finger here that looks like they're not having a conversation where it's peaches and cream. It looks like she's very upset at Marvin about something, and more than likely it has something to do with the early Tyler situation. So I think she's going to be telling him, "You need to go and handle that situation, and you should have took out early when I told you to, but you want to keep your mind on that business that y'all had going on. So now it's creating more chaos for them, which is the truth. He should have took both of them out. It was too risky." Next, furious at the news that he received, that he's going to later on receive, that Panessa has been kidnapped and potentially killed. I'm not exactly sure, but I think Unique is going to go into total demon time. He's going to be like, very upset, and he's going to just go out aggressive. And he's going to go all out and attack any Thomas family member that he could potentially find. Like I think he's just going to be at that point. He's going to lose it possibly because Unique has become um, insane. Like the mind is mad as hell now. So I could predict that he will go all out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to take out a Thomas family, and he might find Juke, right? And then in the midst of him trying to get Juke, he ends up hitting Aisha. So she's dead. And after the death of Aisha, of course, um that's gonna put Juke into demon time. But before the departure of Aisha, I believe I forgot her name here, but the lady that was like the manager of Butter. she might potentially, maybe, who knows, maybe something else, another opportunity might present itself that she's talking with Juke and Aisha here, and she's asking, exactly what do they think about it? And it seems like Juke is just out of it. She's over that life. She's like, look, that's not going to happen. I just know, with the lifestyle that I live and that things are always going to be in the way. I'm not even trying to go down that alley anymore. I can see her, saying that. And then also, I think she could. I think she could be here because maybe the news has came out about Crystal in there, and she's concerned about them now that one of the members of their group is no longer with them. But just throwing it out there because I mean it's a reason they have her in exclusive picks, and that she's even in this episode at all. But also, but I would say probably also before I feel like I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Also before the departure of um, Aisha, I believe Juke will have another encounterment with Garcia because of Snaps and Pop has told Kanan that it was Rock who was behind the death of Famous, and of course that's going to be something that Garcia is interested in because he wants to know who took out Famous, and Juke is going to want to know it as well. So she's going to put a bug in his ear, letting him know, look, can you look out for any dirty cops that may be affiliated with Snaps and Pop? So she might drop that jewel on him, and he goes to do some research on it. So next, in the midst of it, also another thing I could see happening is after Rock had that talk with with Lou, because I think she might tell him that Kanan is in a bad place and he thinks she's behind the death of Famous. Or it could be that Kanan goes to Lou and says, hey, Rock is behind the death of Famous. You said you wanted to get down on, you wanted to take down whoever did it. Well, I'm telling you who did it. Either way, it's going to happen one of those two ways, I feel like. And Lou is not going to be he's not going to be with that. He's going to let him know, look, your mother didn't have anything to do with that. You need to calm down and think and stop being so angry. Look, I used to be like that with you. I think he's going to give him a nice prep talk, very similar to what Tommy gave Tariq at the end of episode 10 and 13 of the original Power, right? And Tariq rejected it and didn't want to hear it. Kanan is going to do the same because I've been telling y'all the story of Tariq was nothing but the newer version of the story of Kanan. That's the reason why Kanan loved Tariq so much because he understood in the end the reason why Tariq did what he did was because of the household he grew up in, and the same way with him. So that's the reason why he decided not to kill Tariq, even though he had the opportunity. But anyways, though, I don't think Lou is going to be able to get through to Kanan. Kanan's going to keep doing what he do. So with that being said, he's going to continue to hang out with Pop and Snap, Snaps and Pop Henry, and they're going to further push him to the dark side and eventually have him meet up with, I do think the introduction of Breeze will be done here. So they're going to be the ones to introduce him to them. Now, the question that I have is whether or not this Breeze turns out to be D Wid's brother or not. Are they the same person? Now, I know we have a high amount of fans that believe that Shamik Moore is going to be the one that turns out to be Breeze, and I'm honestly at this particular point, I'm probably leaning towards that way as well. But what I'm curious of is whether or not it's D Wid's brother or not. Because if it's D Wid's brother, then Kanan already knows him. And maybe he just because we did see a photo of what looks like Kanan to be a little. Well, we seen it in the trailer as well. Looked a little shocked, like he's looking a little confused or whatever when he sees whoever he sees. So it could be just because like, he like D Wiz's brother or whatever his name is. What you doing here? I ain't seen you in forever. And it did kind of seem like he had that type of look on him. And they're gonna be like, he's gonna be your new Snaps and Pops are gonna be like, this is gonna be your new business partner, and whatever. And then honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it does, and this is only if it turns out to be D Will's brother. He questions Kanan about what happened to his little brother. Kanan might just tell him that his mother was responsible for it. He might tell that. And then, he might want revenge on his mom. And then Kanan tells him, no, I got it. Nobody puts hands on my mom. And who knows, maybe Barisa will respect it or D-Wiz's brother will respect it and allow him to deal with it the way he's going to deal with it. But who knows, though? I don't know. Just putting that out there. But also another thing that I could see sparking up is keep in mind, I told y'all that Neek is probably going to be on demon time, and he might go after any Thomas family member he sees, and he might end up running to Juke, take some shots at her, but miss her, and end up hitting Aisha. And if you can remember, if Phil Russo is anything like Sal, one thing Sal was big on was we don't mess with kids, right? Now, I don't know whether or not they would consider Aisha a kid, but if she's 18 at the most. So she's not, she's right there. So would they consider Aisha a kid and somebody that was off limits? Maybe. And if that is the case, that might be enough that they were like, okay, yeah, Unique has to go. He's creating too much chaos, and I told him stop dropping. Remember, he told him at the beginning, you can't be just dropping bodies. He told him that. And Unique don't drop a couple of bodies now. So could this be enough that he pulls the plug on Unique and have Akbar or somebody from his crew eliminate Unique? Possibly. Now I know on my other predictions I did say that I think it's possible that Juke might let Neek know that the abortion that Rock had happened and Neek might have a change of heart. And I'm still not letting go of that theory, but just giving us a different perspective here. But anyways, another thing that we know for sure is going to be taking place is Marvin is going to have a major shootout. Now, I think Marvin may have conflict with both the mob and early Tyler's people. So I think the mob is going to go after him first. Possibly he's going to be able to get away from them some kind of way. And then he's going to run into early Tyler's friend. And I believe my homie, Robert Dion, who plays Calvin, and in the show, he's a relative of early Tyler. He's going to end up having an encounter with Marvin at a burger spot, burrito spot, some kind of place, restaurant or whatever. And then they have their conflict. And who knows, maybe they are. I want to say Marvin's going to survive, but who knows? Maybe they take Marvin out. I'm not sure, because I do think they're reshaping the show. Like they have to put in new cards because, like I told y'all, Kanan can't become the man until Rock, at least for sure, Rock is out of here. It might take more than just Rock, but Rock and Unique have to be out of here. And I'll further explain that in another video. But anyways, like I was saying, we know that Marvin is going to be in the major shootout, right? But later, I think after this, another Garcia is going to get back to Juke eventually, let her know that it was dirty cops under Snaps and Pop by the name of Pickley and Riley, and she's gonna get confirmation that it was indeed them who was behind the death of Famous and Crystal, not Rock. But yeah, so after Juke gets the information from Garcia, of course she's gonna try and track down Kanan as fast as she can because she's gonna be a little nervous that he might be taking actions into his own hands, even though she asked him not to. And also, what I want to say is, I believe it's possible, and shout out to the Jamaican homie that was here months ago that was claiming that Juke would be the one to take out Neek. I think it's possible this guy might turn out to be right, which is crazy. But if he do indeed ends up, taking out Aisha, Juke is definitely going to come after him. So if that's the case, then shout out to the Jamaican homie. He ended up being right about that. But anyways, though, I think um, throughout the midst of all of this, um, Lou is going to accomplish his mission. Marvin's going to eventually accomplish his. They're going to all check in. And it's going to seem like everything worked out. Rocket's going to, kind of give a sigh of relief and feel like that she finally won, that this is over. But when she gets ready, when she finally sits down to relax and thinks all of her worries is over, she's going to get another surprise in her home. And it's going to be just like, it's crazy. She should really up her security and do something about that house, or get out of the house, because you notice there's something always happening at this house. First, you got Stefano came in there and kidnapped her and Unique. Then you had Neek himself just broke in not too long ago, eating her ice cream and shit, and then pulled the gun on her. And now her son is also showing up. And I think this time it will be the end of her. Because I think right here, Kanan is gonna take her out. Because she's the one that she least suspect, the one that she's the weakest against, because she doesn't want to see him for who he is, which she has created a monster, and she hasn't done quite a good job trying to nurture him and let him know that she had, proved to him that she had nothing to do with it. But who knows, though? Kanan was so far gone that maybe it was nothing else she could do. But it's like Crystal said before she left. That's just BS that parents say when they don't want to have to deal with their own shit. So, there you have it. Glad niggas. That's what I got for the final predictions. I think it will end with the death of Rock, Neek, Aisha, and possibly Panessa. That's the four that I think is on a very high alert for this season finale. Now, possibly Marvin could be in the midst too. He could be in it, but I don't know. My gut is telling me Marvin's gonna survive. But yeah, those are the four that I mentioned. Very high alert. But y'all definitely let me know what y'all think of in these comments. We are currently what are we at right now? Because I just completed this video, and it is, so we basically 10 hours away from the finale. So definitely looking forward to seeing it. It should be one hell of an episode. I must say though, I really hope I'm wrong about Kanan taking out Rock. because I don't really want to see that myself. You know what I'm saying? Because as as black sons, we really do love our mothers, so we don't want to see that on screen like that. But hey, that's what I think is about to happen. But anyways, though, like usual, if you're cool with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment, let me know what you're thinking. But most importantly, make sure you share it with your ugly friends. But until the next video, I'm out.